Welcome to the Record Machine Show, a podcast featuring interviews from indie and renowned artists from all genres of music. Now, here's your host, James Michael Hollenstein.
Welcome to the Record Machine Show. I'm James Michael Hollenstein, and as always, this is the place where artists, songs, and stories come together. Today, we're featuring a songwriter whose musical journey spans decades, styles, and experiences, someone who's remained dedicated to the craft of songwriting and honest storytelling through every stage of life. My guest today is Ray Johnson, a seasoned singer-songwriter whose catalog reflects a lifetime devoted to music. With nearly 200 original songs written across his career, Ray's work moves between acoustic ballads, melodic pop, and country-leaning storytelling, all tied together by authenticity and emotional connection. Ray's path began early, singing in choir as a child, picking up a guitar in his preteen years and immersing himself in music through school and college. He later performed locally, formed bands, and eventually stepped fully into songwriting and recording. Along the way, he formed original project Saldo Creek, released albums, and built a catalog reflecting love, reflection, growth, and life experience. Today, his music continues to reach listeners worldwide, earning chart success, industry recognition, and growing momentum with audiences who appreciate thoughtful songwriting. So let's start where every great music conversation begins. Let's put the needle to the record. Here's Ray Johnson with Strawberry Moon.
Strawberry moon across the sky in the middle of June. It was bright and it seemed to soar past the trees to sleepy waking shores. I will write a song just for you, make it sound like it's something brand new. I will sing of love made for two, falling for a strawberry moon. You fly in on the wings of doves, I drive in under stars above, leaving me and you a strawberry moon.
just heard Strawberry Moon by Ray Johnson, and I have Ray on the line for a chat. Welcome to the show, Ray. Let's start at the beginning. Where are you originally from, and where do you call home these days?
Well, I was born in Chicago in the grand year of 1961 in September, and only lived in the city for a handful of years as a baby. Obviously moved out to the suburbs, and currently I reside out about 40 miles west of the city in a town called St. Charles, Illinois.
Wow, nice. You a Cubs fan or White Sox fan?
I grew up as a Cub fan, never much of a Sox fan. I was drawn close to the St. Louis Cardinals because the Cubs lost all the time. So I'm kind of like in between the Cardinals and the Cubs at this point.
Yeah, the Cubs won in 2016 though, right?
Yeah, that was it, so it was like, okay, but now it's been like 10 years again, so it's, they're on their second 119-year journey to get to another one or something like that. But
football fan, the Bears came pretty close this year. They made the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a good thing. That's finally after all these years. But remember, for all the accolades that the Bears have had and ownership of the NFL, they've only won one championship.
Yeah, well, it could be worse. I'm a Bills fan. I haven't won any.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we root for the Bills here in Chicago every year, though.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. You began singing at a very young age. How did you first get started in music, and what made you realize it was something you wanted to pursue seriously?
It's really crazy because, like I said, I was born in 61. And I had an affinity as a child, as a baby, for music. I mean, I can remember at the age of 2, at the age of 1, just being enthralled by the sound of the radio coming out of the car radio, or somebody in the house spinning the record player that they had, and I would just gravitate to it, regardless. So I had this affinity for it, and again, being born in 61, and like so many of us, in February 8th, 1964, the Beatles hit the Ed Sullivan Show, and it was like boom. It was just fireworks went off, and all of that at 2.5 years old came to me, and it was like, this is something I could do. It was just the weirdest thing. And ever since then, I've been on this path of music. It's become my entire life.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Beatles. Who were some of your biggest musical influences growing up?
Well, growing up, I mean, it was obviously the Beatles. The whole British invasion was cool. But there was so much great American pop music right here. I mean, being in Chicago, during that period of time there in Chicago, we had so many good bands out of here. The Buckinghams, for one.
Good band.
Just a number. We had some of the best blues artists coming out of the south side of the city. So we were enthralled out here in Chicago growing up as children and as kids. So between the British invasion and the American pop that was coming out, Tommy James and the Shondells, the list, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, on and on and on. It all came together. It was just quite a period of time for 10 years growing up as a kid to be listening to music here.
Yeah, all good stuff you mentioned there. You've written nearly 200 songs across your career. What keeps your songwriting voice evolving after all these years?
I guess I could say probably it's just my life. I mean, I've been doing it forever. The first songs I ever wrote were back when I was probably 12, 13. And with my love and passion for it, I've always just wanted to write songs. I've always wanted to play songs. I've always wanted to play guitar. I've just always wanted to be involved in music. So it's just been a lifestyle for me, and currently is. I mean, it's everything I've done. I've done other things in between. I wore a suit. I wore a tie. I've had part-time jobs. I've had it all, but the one thing that always been consistent has been the music. And that's where I'm at constantly. And here I am at 64 and I'm still doing it.
Nice. Now, besides the guitar, do you play any other instruments?
Not as well. I can dabble around in keys a little bit, a little bit in bass. But it really is between the voice, vocals, and guitar playing. And not so much lead guitar. I'm mostly an acoustic guitar player. I write from an acoustic standpoint. And then getting back to the influences, once the 70s hit for me, and I was just starting out at 11, 12, 13 years old, and the singer-songwriters came into play, that was it for me. I mean, that was my direction as far as a musician, as far as a vocalist, and as far as a songwriter.
Yeah. You say singer-songwriters, you mean like James Taylor, Jim Croce, people like that?
You name it. Fogelberg, and even the artists like Carole King and Joni Mitchell, and just the singer-songwriter as a genre itself was just enthralling. To be able to tell stories, to be able to get away from just the pop, the girl loves boy, boy loves girl, but storylines that actually were real or were something of value to society itself and a statement. Those were all really, really important to me at that point.
I'm sure. Your music blends acoustic, pop, and country storytelling. Do you consciously choose styles for each song, or does the song itself guide the direction?
For me, for the most part, it really is the content of the song. I don't necessarily try to write one way or the other for a style. My influences kind of dictate that, mostly enjoying pop music and enjoying singer-songwriters. So I tend to my comfort level tends to go there. So I dabble a little bit in country kind of stuff, but for the most part, it really is the story of the song itself, and not so much, hey, I want to write a pop song today, or hey, I want to write a love song today. And sometimes the vocals, sometimes the lyric comes first, sometimes the music it dictates what type of song it's going to be. So it's kind of, there's like really no guideline to it, but you tend to lean on the things that you know best.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Favorite country artist? Who did you like growing up as far as country?
Well, I liked the really earlier country back in the 60s growing up. So the Merle Haggards,
Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah, all of that stuff. And then when we got into the 70s, like the Waylon Jennings and the outlaw country and that kind of stuff.
Hank Williams?
Hank Williams, all of that stuff. The heartbreak songs, who else? Who did I should know this, El Paso, Marty Robbins. Loved his stuff. And then Loretta Lynn, and
yeah, she was great.
the old countries,
Dolly
kind of stuff. Yeah, all of that.
Patsy Cline,
you name it. Yeah, we got a better remembrance of names in country than I do. But
I loved Alabama. Did you like the band Alabama? I thought they were cool. The Oak Ridge Boys.
I did. I enjoyed the 80s versions of country too, as it evolved too.
Yeah, it kind of did a little crossover, right?
Yeah. Eddie Rabbitt.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, you name them. But Oak Ridge Boys, Alabama, just like you said, good stuff. I mean, music's just a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Sure is. You spent years performing locally and working in cover bands. How did those experiences shape you as a songwriter and a performer?
Well, first I'll say, without being in cover bands and doing cover material for decades, I never would have gotten to the point of being a songwriter. First of all. So I played cover tunes in bands as a solo artist throughout my teens, into my 20s, 30s, and it led me to the point when I started really getting into writing my own music. There became a blend between the two. And what happened for me was I eventually got to a point that my writing was getting better, and I just wanted to start doing that on its own and not be so much a cover band anymore, or be doing cover tunes. And the one fear I had, excuse me, at the time, is that I didn't want to be 50, 60, 70 years old. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it if you want to do this.
Right.
But for me personally, I did not want to be up there singing Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Right.
At my age. I wanted, if I was going to be in the music, I wanted it to be my music with my statements and with my thoughts and processes about what music was. So that's how I got to where I'm at, and that's where I came from. And without the cover material and growing up and cutting my teeth,
right,
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And you later formed the original band Saldo Creek and released 2 albums. What did that chapter teach you about your identity as an artist and a songwriter?
Well, primarily what it did is it showed me that I was on the right path of making that transition from doing cover materials to actually doing my own work. That was the number one thing. Because when we got into those bands, when I formed the Saldo Creek and we did the couple albums, it was all original. There were no covers whatsoever. And that's how we started it. That's how I wanted to make sure it happened. And that was the end product of both. So it was an affirmation that what I thought was the right thing to do was in fact the right thing to do and could be successful. I just needed to stay with it.
Yeah. You don't give up, right? You got to follow your heart and your gut.
Exactly, and that's what I've continued to do ever since.
Yeah.
And the albums, they didn't have much of an impact in terms of sales or notoriety or making so much headway in the industry as what they internally did.
For you, right?
For me, which was more important than anything external at that point.
Right. You set a goal that you wanted to achieve, and you did that, and that's what's mostly important, right?
I believe so, yes.
I mean, the other things, yeah, the monetary things and stuff like that, that's all great too, but that could come later. But as long as you set your goal and you accomplished it, I mean, that's something to be proud of.
It was, and we walked away from it, and we never looked back at it as saying, boy, we shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. It cost this much money, whatever the fact was. It was like, look what we did. We believed that we could put out an album with all our own music, and damn if we didn't do it. And it sounds pretty good. It may not be the greatest yet, but we're on our way.
Yeah, you don't want to be one of those people who said, woulda, coulda, shoulda, You made a statement that you were going to accomplish this, and you did. Right. And like I said, you should be proud of it.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest fear, too, is fear is such a motivator. It really is. But when you're afraid of something, you've got 2 choices, right? You either do it, or you don't do it. And the scarier choice for me has always been, if I don't do it, I'm never going to know. And I can't spend the rest of my life not knowing. I need to know one way or the other. But to go on and go, man, should I have, I don't know. What would have happened if I did? That's a bad way. That's a bad position to be in, if you ask me.
Yeah, being scared is normal,
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being scared, but I would rather be scared and take a chance than wonder the rest of my life why, what would have happened if I would have did, what I wanted to, but I just didn't have the courage to do it,
Right. And finding your courage is like the reward in it.
Right.
Because when you find that courage to actually do it and you walk away from it, whether it worked or not, you're like, hey, I just grew by leaps and bounds because I went a little bit further and I pushed the envelope and I went somewhere where I didn't think it was possible.
Right.
And that's a beautiful feeling to walk away that way.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some songs. You have a song called Strawberry Moon. What inspired that song, and what does it represent emotionally for you?
Well, I love the moon. The moon is just one of the greatest terrestrial things in my world. It has so much magic to it. Whether it's a strawberry moon, whether it's the wolf moon, or the other 10 other moons that you have that are full.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a beautiful thing, the moon, and I draw so much energy from it. I mean, sounds goofy, but I could stand under a full moon for an hour and just feel the vibes from it and inspiration from it. And that's exactly what happened a couple years ago in June when the strawberry moon hit. I had just come back from stay down in Cincinnati and was down there for maybe 2 or 3 days. And I finally got home, and it was the strawberry moon that night. And with the way my bedroom faces, the window gives you the view of the moon during the summer. So I was in bed that night. I wasn't thinking too much of it. I knew the moon was a strawberry moon in that, but I was laying there in bed, and I look out the window, and on the left-hand side, I can just see the moon creeping in.
Nice.
And it just kept creeping, and I kept watching it, and I kept watching it, and it was big, and it was beautiful, and it was red, it was strawberry, just like a strawberry moon. And I was just laying there fascinated and watching it second by second, minute by minute. And I just went into this whole thought process about the moon itself and the beauty of the moon and how innocent it was, despite all of the bad things that happen in life and were happening in life. All of that. And I just watched it, and the innocence and the beauty of it, and the time, and how slow it paced, and how it moved from east to west, and how it passed through the trees that were out there. And I just started to have these images of innocence. And I tried to metaphorically, I guess is the proper way to say it, connect that with the human aspects of love. And the story is about the strawberry moon rising once a year, a girl, a boy meeting in June. She flies in on the wings of doves, and he drives in under stars above, leaving them a strawberry moon.
Nice.
And it's only that one time of year. And they never connect other than that day. And then the moon disappears, and so does their relationship. But they know that they'll be back next year at the same time, same back channel. And I got up in the morning and just sat down and just started working on it, and probably wrote it within that 4 or 5 hour period.
That's very cool.
It's one of my favorite songs that I've ever written.
I could see why. Your recent releases have also brought strong recognition. And like you said, Strawberry Moon has reached #1 on Hugs Radio Top 200. Half a Chance is climbing the charts. And you received the Commitment to Excellence Award at the Hugs Radio Awards. What did that level of recognition mean to you at this point in your journey?
Well, there's a few things that it did for me. I was very proud of actually winning an award, and winning that award. I had joined the Hugs roster last year in like March, and the award ceremony was in October, and I had dug myself so deeply into the work there, not only as an artist, but it's behind the scenes with the station, promoting and helping independent artists that were on the platform. It was a big mission for me to be a voice for the independent artist community, as I am everywhere, but particularly there since I was involved in it. And it was recognized in a short period of time. And that's how I won the award for the Commitment to Excellence. So it meant a lot to me to win that, because I was recognized for that, outside of my writing ability and my music career. But then to get and have a #1 song on a radio station, a premier independent artist station, they're out of Connellsville, Pennsylvania, by the way, Hugs Radio. And to actually reach a #1 position, I've never won a #1 record or a #1 hit. In fact, I don't think I've ever come in number one in just about anything that I can remember. I did come in number 2 in a bowling tournament, but that's another story. But anyhow, to actually get a number 1 hit on a radio station that meant so much to me, and for it to be Strawberry Moon, was incredible. I was nominated for Artist of the Year as well, New Artist of the Year, but the competition, trust me, on the station it's incredibly good. So I didn't win that, but I did win the Excellence Award, which was more than enough for me. And then having a number 1 hit with Strawberry Moon, it was like my head was just spinning for at least a couple months afterwards.
I'm sure. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Did you save the chart in the magazine? Maybe put it in a frame and put it on the wall?
You should see the wall. Yes. It has plenty of paraphernalia, so to speak, up there, from the awards, the recognition for the Excellence Award, to framed number 1 release for the station, tickets from the event, tickets from the show itself. Nice. That was held. So I've got a designated wall for my number 1 hit.
Awesome. Let's turn to Half a Chance. What's the story behind that one, and how does it fit into the themes you explore in your songwriting?
Well, my songwriting really kind of breaks down into 2 different things. Either I've experienced it, or I know of people who have experienced it. And Half a Chance breaks down into other people's experience and not necessarily mine. Half a Chance came to me one day, thinking about all of the women and girls that I've known in my life, as friends. And over the years, you meet their boyfriends, you meet their husbands, and you know them really well, the women, the girls. And it's beyond me at times to see how much of a mismatch it actually is. And the choices that are made when it comes to relationships between a man and a woman, particularly on the woman's side. And I say that in the sense that the girls and the women that I have known have been such nice, wonderful people. And it amazes me at times to see what they settled for.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just thinking about that. It's like, geez, she's such a nice girl, or she's such a nice woman at this point. I said, how did she settle for that? I just don't get that. And that was the basis for the song. It wasn't from my end of things. It was from seeing other people go through all this turmoil in relationships. Unfortunately, it'd be the women. And it was like, man, I just want to have a voice or reason for it. So Half a Chance speaks in terms of someone better that could be that woman's spouse or boyfriend. And it's about him saying, hey, give me half a chance. I can turn your skies to blue. All the beautiful things you would want to hear, you know, it all settles down. All I need is half a chance to prove it.
Yeah.
And that's what I wrote. And that is off of our last album, the last album that I put out, called Other Times and Other Places.
Nice.
Yeah, so again, Strawberry Moon I experienced. Half a Chance is just a commentary on social...
Just observations, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we've all encountered, like, you know, people that we've met along the way, and we look and we scratch our head and we're like, what is that person doing with that person? You know, it's
exactly,
you know, and it's not even just people you know. It could be, you know, people that you've met, or, you know, just in chance, or even, you know, couples you've seen on TV or anything like that. It's, you know, right. Sometimes opposites attract, but
sometimes it's like, how opposite could it be?
Yeah.
It almost looks damaging.
Like,
you know,
it's almost like, what are you willing to put up with?
Right.
You know,
right. And to me, it's just such a sad state, especially if you know somebody and you really believe that they deserve so much better.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing you can do about it except for write a song. And that's what I did. So anybody who can relate to it, and I think it's relatable in that sense on a grand scale, on a big scale.
Yeah.
You know, it's not specific to an individual or an individual situation. It's like you said, you know, we've all seen it. We've all seen somebody in a position like that, and you're scratching your head. So that's pretty much the story of Half a Chance.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've met people, you know, couples, and they together, like standing next to each other, they look good and stuff, and then you hear one of them speak, or maybe the way they treat the other person in front of other people, and you're just like, wow.
Right, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
exactly. Wow, that's surprising. Yeah, I didn't think that was what that was all about, right?
Yeah, so I mean, that song makes total sense when you explain it. You know, I mean, I can relate to that. I've seen, you know, over my lifetime, I've looked at some people and just be like, wow, you know, how does she put up with that or whatever, you know?
Exactly. And you know what? It can go both ways too.
Of course, yeah. It's not always the man. It could be the women, you know, mistreating the man as well.
Exactly, you know, but it just comes, the heart bleeds a little bit more from my standpoint when it is a woman than it does from a guy, because the guy's like, hey, man, take care of yourself. What are you doing?
Right.
So anyhow, that's the story on Half a Chance.
Awesome. With such a deep catalog and music suited for licensing and publishing, what goals do you have moving forward? Maybe some more releases, collaborations, or even some placements?
You nailed all of them, actually. I'm still working the charts. I'm still working radio. I'm working to get more exposure for what I have for music in my catalog. I'm sold on the fact that a number of songs that I've written are just perfect for TV and film, and for licensing to TV and film. I would love to talk with publishing and have a major artist cut some of my music. That would be fantastic. Currently working on a new album. It's been a while since I've put one out, but I'm working on one of those. And on that album that's coming out called Watercolors, I do have a couple songs on there that are collaborations with a couple of artists from the Hugs platform that I've come to know. So you touched on everything. That's pretty much where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm looking to strive for. And again, it's just a life's journey for me. And as long as it's filled with music in some way, some shape, some form, in some capacity, I'm there for it. You know, I'll take those chances with fear or no fear. You know, I'm old enough at this point to know that going for it is the best option. So
nice. Any idea when we can expect some new music?
Well, I'm hoping to have the album Watercolors out by the middle of the summer, no later than the fall.
Okay.
It's been a while, like I said, since I've put one out, but there's been so much that has gone on here over the past year with Hugs and all of that, and everything else that's been going on. The album kind of got down to a back burner, and the album itself and the way I work is pretty much me and a bass player, keyboard player by the name of Dave Biritz. We've done all the work, so this is not like a full band. We're pretty much a studio duo, and so we need time to work in the studio, and we just haven't had a lot of time to do that at this point. But things have kindly settled down. Got about half of the album mastered. I've got about another 4 songs to finish up, but all the material is there, so I'm hoping by the middle of summer, by the end of summer, early fall, Watercolors will be available and out.
Awesome. Where can the listeners find you online? Do you have a website, a streaming platform, or social media?
Yeah. I won't get into all the ... this and that, but my website is Ray, RAY rayjohnson.com. And you can imagine how many Ray Johnsons are out there.
I'm sure.
So I had to put a dash in there. So ray-johnson.com. That's probably the best place to go. You'll find my music on there. You're not going to find a lot of updates and things of that nature at this point, but it's a good starting point to get an idea of what I'm about. But the music is on there, and that's what's most important. And then if you're looking for another really good site, I'm on Bandcamp, which is rayjohnson.bandcamp.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's got my entire catalog on there. And then you'll find me on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Apple.
Facebook, right?
Facebook, Instagram, all of the other ones.
Nice. And those links are on your website, right? To get to those platforms?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Finally, is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
The questions that you've asked me today are extremely thorough, and I would just like to just make a commentary to any of the artists out there, the independent artists, about what they're doing. I mean, it's really important for you to pursue your craft as a artist, in any shape, whether it's music, whether it's painting, whether it's drawings, whatever. But be true to yourself and believe that what you're doing matters. Believe that regardless of the tough days, regardless of the down insecurities you might have, what you're doing really does matter. There are people out there that really appreciate what you're doing. I don't want to get into any tirades about AI. It's a very evolving process, but it isn't a very friendly arena for authentic artistry to be working in. And that's hard, because you're going to run into it more than I ever did. I'm running into it now, obviously, but stay with it. Stay with your originality. Don't cheapen yourself. Learn how to play the guitar. Learn how to improve yourself, because at the end of the day, what's real is what really matters. And don't get down. Just keep striving. Keep working on it. If it makes you happy to do it, then you're doing the right thing. Be true to yourself.
Excellent advice.
It's how to live. I mean, if you're an artist, right? I mean, you don't go after the money. If you're going after the money, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Or it will, but you've got to have other meanings than just the coin.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, you got to be true to yourself, and you have to, hone your craft. And all the other good things will come later, I would think.
Right. I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, right? I mean, you've seen that more. I mean, you live long enough, you see it all, or a lot. But being true to yourself is really, if you can wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror, you're doing okay.
Right.
So
exactly.
Just be true to yourself, and
the rest will fall into place.
In one way or the other, it will.
I believe that,
I do too. Like I said, if you can look at yourself in the mirror, then you're on the right path. If you can look at yourself, you're doing okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I had a great time chatting with you.
James, I am just thrilled that you gave me the invitation and asked me to come on with you today. I was really looking forward to this, and just not so much about blabbing about me all this time, but getting to know you and then the great podcast that you operate.
Well, thank you.
The Record Machine. Anybody who's out there listening who doesn't know anything in great detail, tune in to James' podcast, The Record Machine. He's got a really good thing going there, and you'll learn a lot, and there's a lot of good entertainment on there, a lot of good interviews, besides myself, hopefully. Not that I don't know whether this is good or not, but it's the best
been great.
I could do.
No, it's been great.
Best I could do.
It's been great. It's definitely been great chatting with you. And I'll tell you what, when Watercolors comes out, you should come back on and we'll talk about that.
I would love to do that. I would love to get your thoughts on it and your opinions on it, and have you grill me on it for sure. Yeah. So I will definitely be in touch with you. Not even more so, throughout the period of time here than in the down the road. So, but thanks. I'll definitely take you up on that opportunity.
Yeah, let's definitely stay in touch, and we'll definitely chat again.
Sounds like a plan, James.
All right, brother. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, and like I said, we'll be in touch, all right?
Okay. You take care of yourself, too, and best of luck.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right, James.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Ray, thank you so much for joining me on the Record Machine Show. It's been great hearing about your journey, your songwriting process, and the stories behind the music. What stands out most is the consistency of your dedication, building a catalog over decades, continuing to grow creatively, and connecting with listeners through songs that come from real experience and reflection. That kind of authenticity is what keeps great songwriting timeless. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to check out Ray's music, visit his website, follow him online, and keep supporting independent artists who are creating meaningful work and building lasting musical legacies. And as always, here on the Record Machine Show, we like to let the music have the final word. So we're closing out today's show with another standout track from Ray Johnson. Here's Half a Chance. I'm James Michael Hollenstein, and this has been The Record Machine Show. Until next time, keep those records spinning.
I can turn your skies to blue. Girl, I know what to do. Not ashamed to show I care. Anytime you're in despair, a woman needs to dance if given half a chance. Every time I look at you, I see more than you want me to. I'm not afraid to take a stand. You're with the only man who wants to see a dance when given half a chance. So take a trip with me. Imagine what you'll see. All the places we can go. If you open up every door, give me half a chance. I can make you dance. If you feel the same for me, then you're where you need to be. I'm not afraid to put my trust in a world you somehow lost. A woman needs to dance if given half a chance. So take a trip with me.
The Record Machine Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Hall Productions, all rights reserved. For distribution information or to add this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show.